What causes narcissism? The psychology behind self-obsession. Narcissism is a term that gets thrown around a lot. We hear it in conversations on social media and in pop culture. But what actually causes narcissism? Is it genetics? Childhood trauma? Society's obsession with success and status? In today's video, we're breaking down the science behind narcissism, what leads to its development, how it manifests, and the psychological studies that have helped us understand this personality trait. What is narcissism? A psychological overview. Before we get into what causes narcissism, let's define what it actually is. In psychology, narcissism exists on a spectrum. Some level of narcissistic traits, like confidence and self-importance, are normal and even healthy. But when these traits become extreme, they can form narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD, a condition recognized in the DSM-5, the manual used by psychologists to diagnose mental disorders. Types of narcissism. There are two main forms of narcissism. 1. Grandiose narcissism. This is the typical look-at-me type. People with grandiose narcissism are extroverted, dominant, and crave admiration. They often believe they are superior to others. Example: a celebrity who constantly demands attention and treats others as inferior. 2. Vulnerable narcissism. This is a less obvious form. These individuals have deep-seated insecurity and use narcissistic behaviors as a defense mechanism. Example: someone who reacts defensively to criticism but craves validation in private. The role of genetics in narcissism. One of the biggest questions in psychology is whether narcissism is inherited or shaped by environment. Research suggests that genetics play a significant role. What studies say? A study published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences found that narcissistic traits have a heritability rate of about 40 to 60%. Twin studies have shown that identical twins are more likely to share narcissistic traits than fraternal twins, suggesting a genetic component. How this works. Certain brain structures linked to narcissism, like the prefrontal cortex and amygdala, show differences in people with high narcissistic traits. Dopamine sensitivity may also be a factor. Narcissists may have a heightened reward system, meaning they feel an intense need for validation and status. While genetics play a role, they don't determine everything. Environment is just as, if not more, important. Childhood and early development, the birthplace of narcissism. Psychologists widely agree that childhood experiences shape narcissistic traits. The way a child is treated by their parents, peers, and environment plays a crucial role. Key childhood factors that contribute to narcissism. Overvaluation by parents. Some studies suggest that when parents excessively praise their child and treat them as superior, the child may develop grandiose narcissism. A child constantly told they are a genius or better than others may internalize a sense of superiority. A 2015 study published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that children who were overvalued by their parents were more likely to develop narcissistic traits. Emotional neglect or abuse. On the flip side, a child who experiences neglect, excessive criticism, or abuse may develop vulnerable narcissism as a defense mechanism. A child with emotionally distant parents may develop grandiosity as a shield against feeling unworthy. Research from the Journal of Personality Disorders found a strong correlation between narcissistic traits and childhood emotional neglect. Inconsistent parenting. When parents fluctuate between excessive praise and harsh criticism, children may develop an unstable self-image, fueling narcissism. A child who is praised for achievements but ignored otherwise may learn to tie their worth solely to success. Early exposure to toxic competition. Parents who push children into excessive competition, whether in academics, sports, or social status, may create a fear of failure that fosters narcissism. A child raised in an environment where only winners are valued may develop an inflated sense of self to avoid feeling inadequate. Parental narcissism. Children of narcissistic parents may either develop narcissistic traits themselves or become codependent. A child of a narcissistic parent may mimic their behaviors, believing self-importance is the key to survival. Society's role in narcissism. It's not just family. Society plays a massive role in the development of narcissistic traits, especially in the modern digital age. Modern factors that contribute to narcissism. Social media and instant validation. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok reward attention-seeking behavior, reinforcing narcissistic tendencies. A 2018 study in Computers in Human Behavior found a significant correlation between high social media use and increased narcissistic traits. Celebrity culture and materialism. Society often idolizes status, wealth, and looks, leading people to chase external validation rather than genuine self-worth. Reality TV stars who are famous for their arrogance and entitlement become role models. The self-esteem movement. Some psychologists argue that the push for self-esteem in schools, where every child gets a trophy, may contribute to fragile egos and entitlement. A child praised for mediocre performance may struggle to accept failure in adulthood. Capitalism and hyper-individualism. A culture that prioritizes personal success over community well-being can fuel narcissistic behaviors. Cutthroat corporate environments where only the most aggressive and self-promoting individuals succeed may encourage narcissistic traits. Influence of digital filters and beauty standards. The rise of beauty-enhancing technology and unrealistic social media portrayals contribute to self-obsession and validation-seeking behavior. People modifying their online appearance to gain validation, reinforcing external self-worth. Can narcissism be changed? If narcissism is caused by both genetics and environment, can it be treated? The answer is complex. Narcissistic traits tend to decrease with age as people gain life experience. Therapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT), can help narcissists develop healthier relationships and self-awareness. However, true narcissistic personality disorder is notoriously difficult to treat, as most individuals don't believe they need help. Ways to manage narcissistic traits. Self-awareness exercises, keeping a journal to reflect on actions and motives. Therapy. A trained professional can help break harmful patterns. Mindfulness and empathy training, practicing seeing things from other people's perspectives. Understanding, not excusing narcissism. Narcissism isn't just about arrogance or ego. It's a deeply rooted psychological trait shaped by genetics, childhood experiences, and societal influence. Understanding its causes can help us navigate relationships, whether it's dealing with a narcissistic person or reflecting on our own behaviors. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. What do you think? Do you believe narcissism is more nature or nurture? Let's discuss in the comments.